The rounds are really matter. No more losses for these players if they want top 8 dreams.
Yep.
I'm going to send it on over to Marshall and Paul and ask them a very important question. Do you think Corey should be banned?
Come on, guys.
Yes, I would vote for a Corey ban immediately.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Paul already did. He's
Unreal.
been rallying for that for a while. Yeah, Corey, too powerful to be contained. So
True.
we're heading back
True.
down to the feature match here. And we've got 2 players on the same team but on different decks playing against each other. We have Ken Yukuhiro and Shuhei Nakamura facing off in the feature match area. But again, Ken's playing mono red, is it, for Shuhei?
Yeah. Ken's always liked kind of play. He's had a lot of success playing very aggressive red strategies. And if you want to be as aggressive as possible, of course, mono red is the deck to bring to this event. Shuhei Nakamura, I mean, I don't know if it's because they're on the same team, but has made a few slight modifications just to help shore up that mono-red matchup just a little bit. You always kind of see that if you're in the same team, you go, well, if my teammates are playing mono-red, surely the rest of the entire field will be playing mono-red, and make sure that you do have the answers to the Magebane Lizard, which is one of the strongest cards in the matchup.
It's always a weird dynamic. People tend to over-index for the mirror, and then if their teammates are playing another deck, they tend to over-index for that because that's what they do.
Shuhei on 4 cards? Is that right?
Whoa!
Well, no amount of pre-boarding will help you when you go down to 4 cards.
Ken just needs to keep it nice and clean here.
Yeah. Shuhei does have the Corey Steel Cutter, but does not have the ability to double spell next turn. Might want to just keep the life total high here and just get that Emberheart Challenger off the battlefield here with the Abrade in hand. But Ken's hand is full of action here. Oh, tapped out. That's a Manifold Mouse, and that's a Heartfire Hero getting in for 4 damage.
Oh, but wait, there's more. Another Hired Claw to hit the battlefield, too.
Oh
and that's going to be game number 1 going to Ken Yukuhiro. All right, well, when you mulligan to 4, there's usually not much you can do, and that was the case here for Shuhei.
Yep.
Wow. They're going to hit the sideboards. 2 very experienced players here, by the way. 10 Grand Prix top 8s for Ken Yukuhiro, which normally if you sat down against somebody with 10 of those, you'd be thinking like, wow, double digits, nice work. Shuhei says, yeah, 33 Grand Prix top
That is completely absurd.
What?
I mean, back in the day when we used to have a bunch of those Grand Prix, Shuhei Nakamura and Martin Yuza basically just traveled the entire world and went to every single Grand Prix. So
I was always jealous of their frequent flyer status.
Oh yeah, just platinum, diamond, plus, or
exactly.
whatever. All right, Magebane Lizard here now from Ken Yukuhiro. One of the very strong cards in the matchup here. But Shuhei with the double Steel Cutter draw here going, you know what?
And opt. Oh, and opt too.
Right, it's like
Let's
so,
go.
So that did cost Shuhei 3 damage, but I mean, hey, look, you could now have a pair of 2/2 Tramplers in play.
Bottom, and another opt off
opt.
the top. No more mana though, so.
All right. Attack with both, but it can only get in for 2 because the Lizard is a decent blocker. Wow, Ken's hand though, double Monstrous Rage.
Uh-oh.
Ken, ooh, okay. And some interaction too, if he wants. But yeah, so you can go Charring Bite here on one of the tokens if you're a little bit concerned about the double prowess creatures in play here. Oh no,
here we go, Monstrous Rage on the hero.
So that's 4/5 damage coming in now.
But wait, there's more?
Well, and then he's got double Heartfire Hero. He can't play the Monstrous Rages now because of the Rockface Villages in play, but you can use it to cast the 2 creatures in your hand.
Look at him count.
I mean, you just attack.
Yes.
And if you're on Shuhei's side, you're like, I would love to draw a spell here off this opt, right? He's got a couple of looks here, but needs to find a second spell to be able to
that was a
trigger the
mountain.
Steel Cutter. All right, here we go. 2 looks at a second spell here. Already down to 9. Bottom.
Bottom. Oh.
I mean, this could be a really quick match. Is that a land?
That was another land.
Oh, that's
Shuhei mulligan
brutal.
to 6. This game not quite as bad as the 4 from before, but it looks like he's flooded out here.
Oh, that is absolutely brutal here now for Shuhei Nakamura. Just doesn't have much going for him, and Ken Yukuhiro still with that Monstrous Rage in hand. And at a very comfortable 17 life. Ken just like, I take it all.
All of it.
Right?
Bring it.
Take 4.
And then he gets to breathe a little bit of relief there. No more spells.
So right now, Ken Yukuhiro has 6 damage. And with the Monstrous Rage, that is 10 damage coming in.
Shuhei plays his land and passes the turn back. Is there anything that would prevent Ken from just doing it?
I think he's just going for it here. Oh, and he drew a mountain, which is really nice because you can also cast Charring Bite on your creature to finish off your opponent if they get low enough. Oh, never mind. Giving the Heartfire hero haste here with the Rockface Village. That is now a 3/2 Heartfire hero. 3, 6, 7, 8 damage coming in here.
And the rage would be it.
Actually, you don't even have to do anything. You attack right now for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage, right? Now you're down. You put Shuhei down to 1. Shuhei can't cast a spell. There's a Magebane Lizard in play.
Right.
At that point, you cast Charring Bite right after damage. You don't have to cast Monstrous Rage. Then you cast the Charring Bite on one of your Heartfire heroes. If Shuhei Nakamura responds with a spell, he just dies to the Magebane Lizard.
Wow.
So Ken just needs to basically just attack here. Again, 3, 6, 7, 8 damage coming in.
Looks like Ken is figuring out the same thing that you just did, Paul.
And also, you just attack, and if Shuhei flinches and casts a spell, then you just Monstrous Rage.
Then you rage.
Yeah. 1, 0. Ooh.
Oh, he passed the turn back.
Okay.
Well, that is going to be the match. Ken Yukuhiro with 2 very quick wins. Shuhei Nakamura, just nothing he could do there. And you get a big smile out of Ken, and why not? When you face such a formidable opponent this late in the tournament, to get a walk like that, that feels like a gift.
Yeah, absolutely. Just opponent Moses 4. Of course, it's never great to go up against a fellow teammate there, but you know, now Ken Yukuhiro 1 step closer there, just kind of got the perfect draw. And if you're on Shuhei's side, it's just, there's just nothing you could have done in that hand. You had hope. You did get the double Corey Steel Cutter draw, but it's, I mean, when you whiff on, what, 3 or 4 looks with that opt, I mean, you're just not going to win that game.
No, you're not going to win that one. A tough mulligans there and a tough draw in the second game for Shuhei, but we've got more standard to bring you this round. We have Kassis versus Shintaro Ishimura. As you can see, their records a step down here from the ones that we just saw. These records are very much on the fringe. No wiggle room left. If a top 8 is going to be in Shintaro or Ili's future, it is going to require a win out under basically all scenarios at this point. There's Ili.
And coming into this, I would never have guessed we would have seen a matchup of
Gruel Delirium.
Gruel Delirium up against Roots.
Up against Roots.
Yeah. Well, can't say I have too much experience with this particular matchup.
No, we'll just hang in there and we'll hang on for the ride.
See what happens. What?
Upside down land from Ishimura.
That is an act of war.
Single spell into double spell.
Okay. It does make it easier for Ili to read, I suppose.
I think that's the idea.
Yeah. Seed of Hope, gets
See
back.
the Dragon Sniper and the Haywire Might
Yep.
added to the board this last turn for Kassis.
So just a question of just what kind of interaction we're looking at here, right, from Shintaro. Just you need a decent. It's just Ili's Kassis is just such a difficult deck. That deck is so difficult to play around as well. And Ili's deck was already designed to be pretty good against the Is It Prowess deck, presumably. So I would guess that the Gruel Delirium deck is also kind of an aggressive deck, right? So it's probably not bad here either.
Is that a fear of missing out? FOMO?
That is a FOMO there, and we're looking at, I believe, is that already Delirium? Yeah, that is. We have Creature, Artifact, Instant, and Sorcery.
Okay.
Breakout in the sideboard. Or excuse me, in the main there. So Ili doesn't really win by just beating down early. It's just really looking to kind of get the roots, the Tyvar going. And at that point, it's just so hard to kind of grind through this. Oh my God.
Scavenging Ooze?
Scavenging Ooze against a Gruul Delirium deck.
Wow, that's going to be difficult to maintain Delirium in that case.
Yeah. And that is kind of the nice thing about playing the Delirium decks too. It's just you do play main deck Scavenging Ooze, which just means you have additional interactive ways against the Azorius Omniscience deck too. Just being able to take the Omnisciences out of the graveyard is quite strong. No good attack here from Shintaro. Just Dragon Sniper actually just extremely annoying here.
It is a real...
Just blocks everything. You have to kill it.
Onboard removal spell.
Right.
Okay.
Noting that Ely did miss land drop number 3, I believe, but does have access to 3 mana with that Molt Tender in play.
Right. So since there is currently Delirium,
yeah, Ely
the
did
fear of
not
missing
exile
out
the
trigger is going to happen. But Ely says, but if it's just going to die,
Oh, Violent Urge.
Maybe
I believe that gives
Portolan.
it double strike.
if you have Delirium, it gets double strike, which
But first strike is good enough here, of course.
it is.
Right. Okay. But then it gets to attack again, right?
It does.
And it still has. It's still a 3/3 double striker.
So Ely giving up a little bit of damage here.
Right. Right. Oh, you can just block and then sack the Haywire Might to kill the Fear of Missing Out because it is an enchantment.
Right.
Yeah. Gain some life.
Yep.
Oh, it didn't. Okay. Maybe just wants the extra gas in the graveyard for various Scavenging Ooze and or Roots shenanigans.
It does seem to be a mana situation here for Kassis, as he has the disruption in place.
Yep.
Scavenging Ooze could be a major factor of this game.
Yeah, I mean, if Ely can just kind of grow that Scavenging Ooze to 4/4 or 5/5, it just might be too hard to deal with.
Paul, it is that time.
Yep. Sorry.
Chat is ever so eloquently pointing out that we missed something, helping us out,
Okay.
backing us up, that it's apparently non-creature on Haywire.
Oh, excuse me. Okay.
But they were really nice about it. They
Yeah,
said, you
yeah,
guys
yeah,
are
yeah.
doing great.
No,
we
no,
love
no.
you
That-
both.
No, absolutely.
Just a gentle reminder.
They are completely ready to
Thank you, chat.
participate in this Pro Tour.
For being-
All right, Insidious Roots.
The namesake. So that'll unlock a bit of mana here. And maybe make an army?
Yeah, I mean, you just, with the Molt Tender, you can just start pumping out tokens. You can also exile the other creature, right? So you can actually make 2 tokens here with the Insidious Roots. And I can't imagine Shintaro's list plays too many ways to kill enchantments in the main. And I think coming in, Shintaro probably didn't expect a whole lot of Roots decks, right? So this is probably a matchup that, you know, he's not that familiar with, and also it just seems like a very tricky, difficult matchup to play against. I think just Ely just kind of wants to play against creature decks.
This is a bizarre matchup, Paul.
That's why we're here.
I was told Is It versus Azorius was kind of the focal point.
Yeah,
And,
this is other versus other.
We are
That's
in
what we're
round
looking at.
13. And we've got 2 really cool decks here.
Yep.
Exile.
So here we go.
All right.
Combo acquired.
Green mana.
All right.
Gain a life.
Okay. So the Scooz is now a 4/4. And it exiled a creature from Shintaro's side, so Ely doesn't get a token if you exile a creature from the opposing graveyard.
24.
And getting artifact creatures is obviously huge because now Shintaro does not have Delirium, it looks like. Looks like it's all spells. So 2 types in the yard. Shintaro still attacking though, no fear. And Ely going, I'll take 2.
Yeah.
No Delirium, I'm good.
You know, it's not so bad. Even with Delirium, it can get a little scary. But I got to say, you know, Ely's probably been playing against a bunch of Is It all weekend where any one attack is like 19 or something.
Yeah, totally.
Getting hit for 2 feels much better.
All right. Two mana here, and another fear of missing out. So has Delirium once again, but not for long. Patchwork Beastie in the graveyard here. Does Shintaro have any interaction with the
No
board?
kidding. That's really the issue here, because taking a look at the graveyards and the board state here for Ely, every turn that goes by, even on just 2 lands, he's going to be able to just start building out. And it feels like Shintaro's going to have a very difficult time pushing through. Ely's at 22.
Yeah,
like
22. And
what?
This, I mean, we saw the violent urge. So there are occasions where this Gruul deck could maybe try to kill you out of nowhere, but not against an active Scavenging Ooze.
Right. Overlord of the Balemark? Okay.
But now you just...
You get, what, 4 cards off that?
Yeah, no shortage of action now. You get a creature back, trigger the roots, get another token, put counters on them.
Oh, jeez.
You get mana. That one of them does not have Summoning Sickness, so that one you can still use for mana.
Somebody in chat just said, is this Commander?
Look at all my permanents. Thank you for letting me do all of my things.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah. I would be pretty shocked if Shintaro finds a way to pull out of this game.
Definitely.
At this point. Ely just has kind of everything all set up here, got the roots in play, has the ability to, has two active mana available with both Molt Tender and the Not Sick token, so has the ability to exile 2 cards out of the graveyard. And the fear of missing out is just attacking here for 4, so. And another token here.
This one's even bigger.
Yep, Beastie down, gain another life.
23.
Are we done?
Yeah, this is just over.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's felt like that for a while,
Right.
but Shintaro just decided to save himself a little bit of time here. Ely Kassis got the engine rolling.
Yeah.
And it wasn't going to stop.
No, not at all. Not at all. Well, let's see. Maybe things get a little more interesting after sideboard here. We have some paw patch formations out of the sideboard here from Shintaro Ishimura. Probably going to be looking to bring that in as a way to destroy the roots. Pick your poison as well. Scrap Shooter also just... So no shortage of ways to kill enchantments out of the sideboard. So perhaps that can help. 2 Pyroclasms in the sideboard. Maybe that can be okay.
Llanowar Elves here for Kassis to start it off. It's interesting, you know, because we're having fun with this matchup, but, you know, this is round 13. Like, these players have top 8-able records with a great run in Standard.
Right.
Like, this is no joke. Ishimura often playing a brew.
Yeah, every time.
Basically every time.
Yeah. Ooh. Little Disruptive Stormbrood there.
Yep.
Using the
Petty
Revenge.
Yeah.
Okay. An All-Star in a Tarkir Dragonstorm Limited.
Very good. Uncommon. And the mana is flowing now. You see the Molt Tender.
Yep.
And the Llanowar Elves.
Yeah, and it's you know, it's not like Shintaro's deck does anything too fancy outside of just continuing to play just fear of missing outs and Wildfire Wicker Folks, right? Just kind of trying to get in there. And we are currently on Delirium. Enchantment, creature, land, and instant in the yard.
And land drops keep flowing here for Ishimura as well, so all's well.
Perhaps a removal
Yeah,
spell.
burn spell for one of these.
Bushwhack fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Moltender or Llanowar Elves. Usually Moltender is
Long
better
term
in
better.
this deck
Yeah.
just because of the fact that they can exile things and get the roots going. If,
I mean,
if you kill the Llanowar Elves, Ely will get a mana immediately off the old Moltender anyways. But going for the guaranteed source of mana here.
Huh.
But if Ely plays a roots this turn, that would be pretty bad. Maybe a Scavenging Ooze here. That would be really nice here from Ely. That is a roots, right?
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, and so now, I mean, slightly punished there, right, for killing the Llanowar Elves, because Ely does have the immediate way to exile the Llanowar Elves and make a plant token, which will basically just create another Llanowar Elf.
That's pretty punishing.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if Shintaro has, Shintaro has a good deal of enchantment hate in the sideboard, so he was able to dig for one with the Fomos, would of course fire it off here to get the roots off the battlefield.
Based on game one, that does seem necessary from Shintaro's perspective. Have an answer for Insidious Roots, then we can continue. If
Yeah.
not, tends to snowball.
Like a paw patch formation, maybe. Okay, let's see what creature we hit here. Wildfire Wicker Folk
Yeah.
off of the breakout. If it hits a 2-drop, enters the battlefield. So it is a 4/3 trample haster.
That's pretty good.
Not bad, not bad.
Doesn't feel like exactly what you want to be doing, but
Yeah. But there's only, it's just, this deck can only just do the one thing.
Right.
This feels like a very, very poor matchup here for Ishimura. Okay. Oh, that's double strike. That's 10
5
damage.
plus- wow. And a trade. But you see the
Okay.
Molt Tender sitting there. It's going to make some mana here and get the plants rolling.
Yeah. Does Ely have like a fatal push or something? Wait, no. Can't play that one.
No, not that one. That's in limited only.
Exactly. So what does Ely go down to here?
10.
Because it trampled, right?
I mean, I think it just got in. For the full 10 there.
Right.
And
No, Ely's at 2 now. Okay, there
At
you go.
2?
Because there was another combat from the Fear of Missing Out.
Oh,
and
so-
it was a 5. Every time the Wicker Folk connects, it's 10 damage, right? Because it was a 5/4
Holy
double strike.
smokes.
Yeah. So I mean,
Wow,
now that
that
you're at
escalated
2,
quickly.
Yeah. Oh, 4 mana. Oh, hard cast.
This is actually
Yeah, that's just an actual hard cast.
Belmerk.
So there is a window here if Shintaro has another violent urge here. That would be lethal.
just get the Belmerk off the board.
No, you just attack with a 5/4 double striking trampler here. Although, is that enough? There's 10 total toughness in play.
Oh, I see.
2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 10. Oh, so I guess it wouldn't be. All right. Does Shintaro have a way to push through the last few points here? Ely down to 2?
It's crazy attack step the last
I know.
time. Maybe this deck actually is absolutely terrifying.
Oh, for sure.
That was 20 damage.
I mean, it's like playing.
And there was a blocker.
You know, back in the day, back in Modern, when Infect was very popular, it's like playing against the Infect deck. You're like, oh, do you have it? Am I dead? Do you have
Yeah.
the pump spell? It kind of feels like that.
It does feel like that.
Oh, Rubble Belt Maverick in the graveyard too. So that's another way to trigger the Insidious Roots. Continue building up your army. Green, green. Ooh, Keen Eye Curator here for Shintaro. That's his version of Scavenging Ooze.
Right.
Okay, just go. So Ely's gotta love hearing that.
Wow. Oh, upkeep?
Shintaro gonna exile something out of the graveyard here?
Yes.
The Rubble Belt?
Trigger roots.
The root still triggers.
Oh.
So that is rough. I mean, the root still triggers.
Oh.
Look at this army.
Oh, sorry.
But it does prevent Ely from putting a
Unless the mark
+1/+1
creature type
counter
underneath it.
on something.
Sure.
And of course, as you can see with the Curator here, if you exile 4 cards, it becomes a 7/7 Trampler. So maybe with a 7/7 Trampler and the 4/3 Trampler, maybe a Violent Urge, maybe that can be enough here to take it down. Overlord of the Baelmerk, if he gets a creature here, that'll be another token. Ooh, Disruptive Stormbrew too. Gets back Tyvar.
Take 5.
So now Tyvar basically makes it so that all the tokens can tap for mana immediately.
Regardless of their sickness.
Because you can activate abilities of creatures as though they had haste. So what kind of magic can Ely pull off here?
It looks like the kind that produces huge amounts of power and toughness.
Right, just block everything. Because now we're looking at another token. 1, 2, 3, 4 counters on things. We're talking about 14 toughness in play.
That's the kind of toughness we need. Seriously, Shintaro's deck is that scary.
And another trigger. Look at this. I mean, Ely can just attack next turn and probably just wins the game.
Probably. Holy smoke. Still Molt Tender there, too.
I suppose if Shintaro can still make a 7/7 Keen Eye Curator
So this? Yes.
that would trample and double strike, maybe there's something he can pull. Oh, this is so
Are you
ridiculous.
serious, Ely?
This is so ridiculous.
Black mana.
Now he has attacked already, so these haste
Yes.
tokens, these tokens cannot attack.
He's just trying to set himself up to not die.
God.
Another?
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, make a little room there, Ely.
Yeah, how many plants does the judge table have? Okay, 2 mana. Playing something else. Probably something that'll pump all the other plants.
Wow, he is just comboing off here. This is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, Osteomancer Adept. Can you imagine testing against this deck?
No.
It's like
I will tell you, it would involve a lot of reading.
I'd be like, "Hey, Ely, am I dead?" It's like, "Yeah, probably." Okay, let's just move on.
I trust you.
Yeah, we're good here.
Yeah.
Oh, it just said go. Goodness. All right. I mean, we got to be so close to just being able to close out the game here just by attacking. I'm assuming this is just lethal.
There's 2 blockers, right?
Yeah, there's 2 blockers. You block what? The 2 plant tokens on the left.
Right.
4, 7, 9, 10. Also, you can put a counter on everything by tapping the Molt Tender here. Ely just needs to continue playing against Gruul Delirium decks. And
The dream matchup?
Maybe, yeah. Splash damage. This is splash damage.
Yeah.
Target Landwealth. Okay. Roots trigger.
Okay. Still triggered the roots. Oh my. All right, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. By the way, the judges have stepped up, still have plant tokens.
Yeah,
Makes
yeah.
it fun. You don't need 2 creatures there. Yeah. This.
Ely just doing some math, thinking, considering, hey, if I attack with everything and you have some way to kill one of my creatures, is this still more than enough? It likely is. And here we go, sending them in. Yeah.
And that is going to do it. Ely
Oh,
Kassis
man.
keeps the dream alive. 4 losses on the record, but a win this round.
Yeah. And that
Wow.
was just a convincing victory. That matchup seems so rough there for the Gruul Delirium deck. It feels like the only way you actually have a chance is to kind of assemble your Violent Urge combo with the FOMO. And if you don't, you're basically just dead. And then also it's just like Ely can just completely have things get out of hand. He's just the superior creature deck in basically every matchup. I bet the only thing that he probably wants to avoid are maybe more controlling decks, right? But there's not too many of those, right? Azorius Control is not the major Azorius deck in the format. It's
More
the Azorius
combo.
Omniscience deck, and for that one, he's going to be hoping to draw those scoozes.
Wow. Yeah, that was impressive. Shintaro did do 20
Yeah,
in a turn.
yeah, but that we
wasn't quite
did have a
enough.
chump blocker and a little bit of Lycan, and that was just enough to
That's
just
right.
not die.
All right, well, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we will have more standard action for you here from the feature match area in Las Vegas. We'll be back with more right after this. And welcome back to coverage here at Pro Tour Final Fantasy. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. I'm with Paul Cheon. We are in Las Vegas, Nevada. And as you can see, we are in a very, very large room full of Magic players. There's 2 floors on the thing. Hey, that's Patrick Chapin. And there's even an arcade.
Yeah.
You see that? Arcades' arcade, if you will. Yes, there is a merch area where you can pick up. I mean, look at that stuff. This is full-on MagicCon Saturday afternoon. We are in full swing over here. We're playing a Pro Tour 2. This is standard right now as we come back in. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're just kind of on the back end of the round here. But these are really important matches because, as we saw earlier, you know, some players were 10-2 coming in and picking up an additional win, ups their percentage for a top 8 by a lot. Other players are hanging on for their life, as we saw in the last round with Kassis and Ishimura. Here, we're in that upper echelon here, 10-2 for Toni, Portolan, and Christian Baker. Not only the same record, same deck.
Yeah. Same deck. Yeah, same deck, but slightly different approaches to the lists. We'll see which one ends up working out here. One really cool card that Tony's got in his version of the list is 2 copies of Wild Ride. You know, oftentimes you see people play 3-4 copies of Monstrous Rage, but with Wild Ride, you can play the VV out of nowhere on turn 4, give it haste, and then use that to generate a bunch of mana to potentially close out your opponents out of nowhere. Toni did win game number 1 here. Christian will be on the play with a mulligan to 6, it looks like.
Oh, nothing yet. Land.
No cutter.
Baker on 6 cards here in game number 2.
Monastery Swift Spear, I assume.
Just going to get in.
Okay.
That one entered, tapped, and attacking. No wait there for Portolan.
End of turn upgrade, just in case if Toni does have a Monstrous Rage, you don't want to take all that damage. So taking the 1 so you don't take the 4 or 5 even. And he does have the Monstrous Rage, so he can save it. Right? You just play the Monstrous Rage just so that you have a 2/3 creature in play. Kind of forces Christian to maybe use another removal spell if he does have one.
Yeah, keep maintaining your threat as well. Is there a shields down consideration here for Portolan? A spell pierce he may be repping. Oh, wow, I guess so.
Right.
He must have a spell pierce.
Yeah,
then,
because
right?
you're going, well, if I save this and then they like play a stock up, do I want to counter the stock up?
You want to counter the stock up.
You want to counter the stock up, yeah.
Wow.
There it is.
Nice call, Paul. Spell pierce counters stock up.
I am far more familiar, just so you all know, I'm far more familiar with this matchup than the Golgari Roots Haywire Might deck, okay?
Yes.
These cards, I've seen a lot more in testing.
that was a bit of a curveball. You know, you have to pick, right? Like when you're
it's
prepping.
Like, how am I going to prepare for this event?
Right, now that the format's been out for 9 days. And you can see also Toni prioritizing being able to interact with Christian there because he had a board state ready to go here with the double otters.
Ooh,
That's into the Flood Maw to kill an otter.
Yeah, it's so important to be able to manage these prowess creatures. If you let your opponents get 2 or 3 in play, you can just die so suddenly. So
that sleight of hand.
Yes, sleight of hand. There is a Torch to Tower. You could use that to try to get this token off the battlefield. You could consider bargaining as well. Maybe you don't need both of your Storm Chaser talents, so bargain it so that even if Christian Baker has like an opt or something, you would be able to kill it. Okay, there's an opt. So 3/3 prowess token here from Toni. Hoping for probably just an Abrade or something if you can just get the Steel Cutter off the battlefield. Oh, that was probably off the opt.
Yep. Oh, look at this Monstrous Rage too.
And look at this, just going for it here.
This is 9 damage?
So this is 4, and this is 5.
Okay.
Wow, that's huge.
Wow, we're picking a fight here, but Toni
Absolutely.
gets to be the first one to throw a punch. And it's a haymaker. Down to 10 goes Christian Baker.
Oh man, I actually really love going for the monstrous rage there, and this just shows that Tony's super familiar with this matchup, because people would be scared of a one-man interactive spell there, right? But the removal spell that Christian used was into the Floodmaw. I believe Toni was tapped out. So given that he used into the Floodmaw instead of Torch the Tower, you have to think, well, they probably don't have a Torch the Tower in hand, because you want to use the Torch the Towers to kill the creatures whenever your opponents are shields down, because into the Floodmaw is a guaranteed way to kill tokens.
So Baker down to 10. They were just making sure the damage was correct, but it was.
Okay.
And here's the stock up. With Toni tapped out, Christian can kind of do whatever he wants, but he needs to find some interaction.
There was
quickly.
interaction. There was a Lithomantic Barrage and a Torch the Tower.
Ah.
You could even just Lithomantic Barrage the Otter, right? It is a blue creature.
Yep.
So that,
Blue and red.
right? And then that would turn on the Steel Cutter. And then if Christian has another land, you could use Torch the Tower, bargain it so that you get the Swift Spear off the battlefield. And all of a sudden, Toni has no board. Even though you're at 10, you're feeling much safer. So yeah, the Lithomantic Barrage can actually just deal 1 damage to anything. But, you know, this is one of the best answers to BV or cards like Draycatcher that a lot of the prowess decks play.
Torch, bargain, smoke, target your spear, evening monk.
Okay, a little.
Does he have the land as well?
Probably not, is my guess.
Okay.
Given the fact that he sacked the token that he had in play.
But he'll have to just live with leaving one Otter behind and kind of hold his breath. Only one card in hand.
One is rough, unless Toni goes Steel Cutter into a bunch of spells.
Right.
You're probably feeling okay about this.
Okay, well, if there's the one card you want, there's a Steel Cutter.
There's a Steel Cutter, and that was pretty quick. There were a bunch of lands in that pile, so might have just taken the 2 spells there. And there is a Torch to Tower in Toni's hand. Might be interested in just firing that off, getting the Christian's 2/2 off the battlefield here. All right. And I don't think Toni's played a land for turn yet. Also getting to the point where those Storm Chaser's talents might be relevant with all this mana in play.
Okay, there was a braid.
A braid, okay. That's good.
And somehow we're left with just one prowess creature each. Hello, though.
Another Steel Cutter into Sleight of Hand, okay. Back in action, and a Torch to Tower there for the Otter token. I think you're at 7 life. You might be very, very interested in here, just killing that Otter here. Yep. Oh, and now we're looking at 3 tokens here that Toni needs to deal with.
10.
Oh, excuse me, 2?
2 tokens, but a life total falling quickly.
And Steel Cutter advantage here from Baker's side, so
Right.
Toni has a lot of problems here. 4 mana? Is this Ral? I suppose you could also level up Storm Chaser's talent. Well, that's not great. Maybe he's going to go for the Abrade here. If he has a land to play this turn.
So to say, he still needs another mana.
Right. So if he has a land in hand, you could go land Abrade, kill the Steel Cutter, and hope Christian doesn't play 4 spells, right?
Yeah.
Or, you know, spells plus Monstrous Rage.
Yeah, Toni has a lot of problems here. Killing the Steel Cutter, leaving behind the 2 prowess monks still isn't comfortable. It's probably not lethal, as you said, Paul, but it's not comfortable.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so much of the mirror is just about managing the tokens and prowess cards on the other side while also trying to find times to find spots to be able to play cards. Ooh, and no kill. Okay. I think Christian Baker looking very good here if he's got anything going.
Okay, it's on the stack.
Sleight of Hand on the stack. Triggers prowess triggers on the stack. Excuse me.
Okay. Does Toni have a 1 mana spell here? You would think if he had like a Torch to Tower, might have just played it
Who
on
would
his
have
turn.
seen it? Yeah.
Perhaps this is just a bluff.
Yeah, it might be because Toni
Right.
just said, okay, sure.
Now we're looking at 5 damage currently. But if you play another spell, that is 8 damage coming in. I will say, whenever you play these prowess decks, it's not like mono red. There's a lot of thinking. You got to add up all the prowess triggers. You got to figure out just how much damage each spell can do.
Rage Hammer.
Oh.
Put the cutter trigger on the stack first.
I mean, if Toni has nothing here, this is just a game.
So it's a 3/3.
Right now.
Yeah, right now it's a 3/3 with a prowess trigger on the stack.
You heard Christian order. When you have multiple triggers that go on the stack at the same time, you do get to choose which order to put them on.
Right.
And he has the prowess trigger up to resolve first, and then the Corey Steelcutter trigger after that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Tony's tapping mana.
All right, well, if he's got an Into the Flood Maw, that would just be an automatic Into the Flood Maw, so perhaps he's going to go for a Torch to Tower and just hope Christian does not have an instant speed spell here to play around a Torch to Tower, right? Like a bargain to Torch to Tower would kill it if Christian has no other spells to play here.
What was he hoping to gain by waiting this long, if
He
that's
does
the
have a
case?
Torch to Tower.
Wow.
Oh. Oh,
gonna
okay,
bargain.
and it works. But you do still get a Corey Steelcutter token here.
Yep, it's just the biggest of the prowesses.
Right.
So that's 3, 2, 5. Yeah,
Toni
down to 5.
Oh, and I think Christian's out of action here.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, and
This
Toni
could be
does-
an opening if Toni
right?
has something.
Well, Toni at least has an Abrade that we know of, and it looked like the Spell Pierce. But given that Christian didn't have another spell, do you maybe take the chance and not kill the Corey Steelcutter? Maybe you just kill the token right now? Given that you're at 5?
You may not have the luxury. It feels like long-term the Steelcutter will eventually kill you, but you will die now.
Especially because Christian didn't cast a spell this turn. Oh, you could just... Oh, it looks like Into the Flood Maw here, too. So you could just bounce the token on the Corey Steelcutter.
Take 1.
Take 1. End of turn, Abrade the Steelcutter. Maybe Christian... And
Hey.
Christian's out of action here.
Christian is out of gas.
All right, just needs to deal with 1 token. Still has Storm Chaser's Talon in play.
Also-
you can use that to get back another removal spell if you want.
Christian's at 7
Yeah. All right, it looks like maybe getting back an Into the Flood Maw here.
and just kill the token.
Yeah, that's just a guaranteed way to deal with the token.
And then ask the question of Christian Baker, do you have another threat on the top of your library or anywhere near it?
Right. Now, do you just fire that off now? Do you wait?
Tony likes to wait.
Yeah, because Christian could have drawn a Spell Pierce or something. So that's something to consider. All right, taking
Down to
it,
3.
being patient. Still waiting, playing around a Spell Pierce even.
Yeah, just fully playing around it. Oh, there's a Corey Steelcutter, and that means that the end of the Flood Maw is now going to create a threat for Toni
Yeah,
as well.
now you definitely bounce the token, right? Oh, never mind.
Even
Found the
better.
Storm Chaser's Talon here as well.
And still
Wow.
has 2 lands. Oh, boy. This has turned right back in Toni Portolan's direction now.
Incredible. And
Christian
by
needs
the,
to find something now.
by the way, Toni has Into the Flood Maw, and I think Spell Pierce was the other card, right? So if he plays both, that makes another token on Christian's turn.
Right. Would he just want to Spell Pierce for the sake of it?
How many cards?
You could consider it because you're going to be looking to bounce the token anyways, and that just gives you another token.
You have to look at a card like Spell Pierce at this point and really think, what am I getting out of it?
Right. And Christian will almost certainly pay for it here, right?
Right, he just pays
Yeah,
for it,
and
but
he
you
goes for
get
it, yes.
to cast a spell.
So Christian
Heads
will...
up play here for
Right?
Toni.
Absolutely.
Prowess trigger on the stack.
Oh, has he found some burn spell or something? Yeah, towards the tower. So he can use it to kill the otter.
So it's a 1/1 currently. Even if Toni plays a spell, it'll die. So Tony's just going to let it die.
And that's why Christian was very specific that that has not resolved yet. The prowess trigger, that is.
Yeah. There is no way to save this because it's a 1/1. You play a spell, it becomes a 2/2. Torch the Tower would still kill it. Now Spell Pierce is still on the stack, and Christian has to decide whether or not he wants to pay. Chooses to pay, and you do get a token here. That is a lethal attack, but there is the bounce spell, and there's the Spell Pierce.
Oh.
But you do get an extra token here to chump block
To
and not
chump
die.
block. Wow, what a sequence here.
Sorry, okay, so I just eat your guy here, right?
Yeah.
It does get attached to the steel cutter.
It does have trample. Oh, excuse me, no steel cutter.
5 and you're at 3, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, can Toni
Can
turn
Toni
it around?
just win here?
I mean, Christian's at 5. He had no cards left, right? What did he top deck here? If he finds a cantrip spell into a second spell, that
also
would do
just
it.
equip.
Actually.
I'm gonna look at yours. Oh no, this one's fresh, right? Yep.
These players are both at 10 and 2. A win here would put them one tantalizing victory away from a top 8.
So has the ability to at least get back a removal spell here, right? You can just get back and into the Flood Maw. That's probably the safest removal spell here.
A4. This has been a really cool game.
A Monstrous Rage would not be enough, right? It would get Christian down to 1. Okay. I mean, that's kind of the same as a removal spell if you think about it.
Just forcing a chump, or
If you go for that. So you have to block, because Monstrous Rage will kill you, right? That's 5 damage.
oh,
from
it's
the prowess
still in
creature.
hand. I see.
Yeah.
And there's the end of the Flood Maw.
Right. So now there's no tokens on Christian's
No
side.
board state.
And with a Monstrous Rage, Toni has played this game beautifully.
Wow. So Christian's now going to look in his graveyard because he can buy back a spell.
Sure.
It's funny, we're really deep into this game, yet each player has 5 lands.
Right. And they have not run out of things to do.
Not at all. They keep spending their mana every single turn.
So Toni with 1 card in hand, right? So it is the Monstrous Rage. Christian needs to get back a torch. Okay.
So
Oh, 'cause he's
that
digging.
does mean, oh, right.
That's a cutter. What's the other card in Christian's hand? Because
Don't know.
he need up spell. All right.
But Toni doesn't have a threat now,
with
right?
the steel cutter in play, there's
Oh,
a VV.
there's VV.
Monstrous Rage.
I'm gonna do 4.
That's the only target,
Yep.
but it will trigger the steel cutter.
Right. And then now you can, so then now you can attack for 2.
4 powered, right?
Okay. Oh, and then you can use the mana to move the Corey Steel Cutter onto Vivi and attack for the
Oh,
win.
you're right. And that is going to be Toni Portolan with the victory and just 1 match away now from a top 8.
What a tricky matchup, right? Both sides just looking, prowess triggers on the stack. I have effects, and I mean, you can tell Toni is just no stranger to this deck. Toni also just been playing a lot of Storm Chaser's Talent. I believe was on Esper Pixie in the last Pro Tour as well. So just kind of knows all the ins and outs of that deck and just play that game beautifully. But I think just well played by both sides there, honestly.
They both look very comfortable with the deck and the mirror, which is something that they both would have anticipated for this weekend. All right, that's going to do it for this round here from the booth. We are going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be over at the news desk getting set up for the next round. We'll see you there.